mission to prove Ms. Jones's late son Tyrell's the daddy of her little one, Quamira. She's all, once the DNA drops the truth bomb, I'll better step up for my baby. Ms. Brogdon shares her struggles as a solo mama bear to a kiddo who barely knows her pop's side of the fam.
In court to prove to Ms. Jones and her daughter that her deceased son Tyrell Jones fathered your 1-year-old daughter, Quamira. You say once the DNA proves your case, Ms. Sugden, you say without a doubt that your brother did not father Ms. Brogdon's daughter. You say the stress of her accusations hit your mother greatly and is preventing her from healing after the loss of her son.
Boom, plot twist. Ms. Sugden, Tyrell's sis, throws shade, claiming Ms. Brogdon played the field with not one, but 2 brothers. Court's all ears, trying to untangle this paternity pretzel. Ms. Brogdon slaps back, denying the baby daddy drama. Just when you think it can't get any spicier, it does.
I don't think that's my brother's baby. I don't.
Why?
Tamisha, first of all, slept with 2 of my brothers. So that's what left me like, I can't trust anything she says, honestly. I mean,
She slept with
2 of my brothers.
And that's true, Ms. Brogdon?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you're in court saying that Tyrell is your daughter's father. He potentially be the child's father too?
No, Your Honor. I heard otherwise.
Things get real. Ms. Jones and Ms. Sugden grill Ms. Brogdon about whether Tyrell really wanted to be a dad, saying she only named him after he couldn't defend himself. Accusations fly left and right, turning the courtroom into a hot pot of family. Buckle up, because the emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
He's not my child's father at all. We don't know who your baby daddy is. And my brother's living with, he has to live with because of it. Now he has to carry this with him. It's affecting our family too much. We need to get this over with ASAP.
Because he has guilt because he knows he slept with her.
Yeah. Possibility, you know, that he could be the father. He was like even upset about trying to take the test. You know, it's too much.
He was upset about taking the test because he know he's not my father. I heard that story from a family member.
Witness time. Ms. Chambers steps up and spills the tea about how the fam missed a prime DNA test opportunity. Her tales paint a picture of missed calls and mixed signals, stirring up all the family feel. And just when you think everyone said their piece, there's more to come.
Ms. Chambers, you are
Tyrell's daughter's mother.
What do you have to add?
When she called me and said she had the baby, Tiara was at my house. I said, Tiara, she had the baby, one go. What I'm going to the hospital for? Right then and there, y'all could have got a DNA test done on that day.
Why didn't Mish call? Why is she going through you all the time? She's a grown woman.
You're right. Why did she go through me? But
y'all don't like me. Y'all hate me.
If you with your child, you be a woman about it.
Hold on to your seats, folks. The judge dives into why no one from the Jones clan was vibing with the hospital visit when the baby was born. It's a mix of cold shoulders and eye rolls as past beefs bubble up, focusing on Ms. Brogdon's ex-escapades. The tension's thick enough to cut with a knife.
If there was a level of concern or belief one of 2 brothers could be this child's father, why didn't you go to the hospital? Did you not go because you didn't believe?
Baby daddies.
It don't matter if she has
and
six.
So that's why that's someone.
It couldn't have been anybody. And
the crazy thing is, Your Honor.
So why she ain't tell me when I asked her to give me the
DNA time?
It has been determined by this court. Miss Christina Jones is related to Quamira Jones.
Mr. Mason and Miss Malone have been having a lot of marital troubles because Mr. Mason caught Miss Malone in the act of cheating. Thus, paternity doubt, while the girlfriend claimed that there was no reason for denial, and the plaintiffs need DNA proof.
You were walking in the alleys, Ms. Malone?
Yes, I was sneaking around, but there was a break.
You were sneaking around doing what?
Seeing other guys. But there was a break because he wasn't showing me any attention.
We wasn't on a break at all. We wasn't on a break.
Were you all committed?
For my knowledge, we was in a relationship.
Your Honor,
still.
yeah, we've been on and off for 3 years now.
This woman's got real guts. It turns out that the 2 started dating online, and when they met, they just knew they had to take the relationship to another level. But once they moved in together, baby mama showed Mr. Mason her true colors. He was shocked and heartbroken. According to the alleged father, he wanted to work on these issues because of how much he loved her.
I had a friend watching my front door who lived right across from where we lived at.
Oh, you had a watchdog, right?
Yes, Your Honor, every time I went to work. She blamed it on because me and her wasn't having any intimacy or anything like that.
Do you remember that confrontation, Ms. Malone?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then what did you respond?
I told him that it was my father that came to the door.
Then, a couple of months into the relationship, a friend of Mr. Mason told him that he had caught his wife sneaking around with strange men in their cars. Now, that's not very fair to the guy at the podium, but he knew he couldn't do anything until he had proper evidence. So, he decided to become a detective and launch a proper investigation.
I cheated on Mr. Mason, we was having problems in our relationship because the simple fact he was not showing me any attention. He just wasn't being a man that I expected him to be.
Okay, so let me say this. When it comes to the window of conception, when you were out with this other person, was that during the window of conception?
Yes, Your Honor, it was.
And the worst part? All of this cheating has made Mr. Mason doubt if his daughter Avery even really is his. That's why he's in court today, just so he can know for sure if he is Avery's biological father. Because after all, the defendant told the entire court that she was having relationships with multiple men while she conceived little Avery.
I overheard a conversation between her and another individual about she found the other guy on a website and how much Avery and the other guy and the other guy's child looked just alike. When I brought it to her attention, she said she didn't want me to find out like this. I was awake and I overheard everything.
Once Mr. Mason found out that his wife's pregnant, he decided to take the game into his own hands. Guess what he did? He went and told every single one of Miss Malone's family members that their daughter was pregnant and the child wasn't even his. How shocked everyone must have been to be dragged into all the drama of one shameless woman.
At first, it was two guys that popped up at our doorstep saying they were Avery's father.
What? When you say this gentleman popped up, he says there's even another gentleman that came. It just is hard for me to believe that you can say 100% certain that you believe Mr. Mason is the biological father when you're admitting that you were intimate with other people during the window.
Then, even Miss Malone's mother is brought into the courtroom to explain her side of the story. She staunchly defends her daughter and doesn't want Mr. Mason to be the father of Avery. Well, she should be scolding her shameless daughter, but that's not the case here. And the most shocking part? Miss Malone's pregnant again.
Is there a question as to the paternity of this child as well?
Your Honor, yes, I had doubt because at that time we were not together. We had broken up and I was with this other guy.
You had moved on and you were now dating this guy.
She was having a relationship with him, but yet
cheated on
him with me.
Okay, it keeps turning into a lot of cheating anecdotes. It turns out that it's just not in Miss Malone's bones to be a loyal woman. She had a man who was willing to give her everything, but she threw that right out the window by being a very shameless person. Now, there's just the results to see who is Avery's true father.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Mason, you are not her father. When it comes to the child that Ms. Malone is currently carrying, Mr. Mason, you are the father.
Judge Lake kicks off the case by diving into the drama about Creedle Jones's paternity. Ms. Yarborough and Mr. Jones are teamed up, trying to show that Mr. Triplett isn't really part of the family. They're all about keeping their late dad's music money in the right hands. Meanwhile, Mr. Triplett's there, totally convinced Creedle Jones is his pops too. Let's see how they hash this one out, shall we?
In this very courtroom to prove the late Shy Lights member Creedle Jones was your biological father and that Michael Jones is your brother. The results from that case prove Creedle Jones is your father. Stand united together to protect father's legacy and musical estate, proving that Mr. Triplett is not your sibling.
Here comes a twist. Mr. Triplett steps up, super sure that he's Creedle's son. He's all about getting a warm welcome once the DNA results drop. Mr. Jones throws in his 2 cents, totally skeptical, because his family was like a tight-knit club, and Mr. Triplett was never mentioned. Plus, he's got those birth certificates signed by Creedle himself as his ace in the hole. Things are heating up. Get ready for the next bit.
Mr. Triplett, you state you've always known that Mr. Creedle Jones is your father, and you hope that once the DNA results are revealed, Ms. Yarborough and Mr. Jones will welcome you with open arms. Mr. Triplett is your brother.
He claims that he's like 2 weeks older than me. As far as my life, I know my mother and father was always together from 1964 to 1974. We went on trips together.
Oh, snap! Mr. Triplett drops a bombshell. His birth cert doesn't name Creedle Jones, which totally clashes with Mr. Jones's documents flaunting dad's signature. This mix-up throws a wrench into the whole "are we siblings?" question, stirring up more mystery around their family ties. And just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, watch what happens next.
So, Mr. Triplett, is Mr. Jones on your birth certificate?
I've always been told Creedle was the only father that I've ever had, so.
Your entire life? And you were told you had brothers and sisters?
Yes.
Let's be clear, he is a music legend, incredible contributions to the music industry. You were told that you were his child.
Yes.
Things just got real. Ms. Yarborough isn't holding back, accusing Mr. Triplett of chasing after the cash instead of genuine family bonds. She's all about that deep connection to her dad, unlike Mr. Triplet, who seems to be eyeing the estate like it's lottery winnings. This clash of intentions is laying down some serious daytime drama vibes. Hang tight, because there's more where that came from.
Maybe you think it's a lot of money here. I don't know.
You think this is about money?
I'm upset because hear this. I hear everybody telling me what they had, and I mean, my mother told me that he took care of me and my sister. When he went on the road, he sent my mom money. My older sisters and older cousins have memory of him, but I don't. My only memory of him was at 11 years old when he came to visit me and my sister. That's it.
Guess what's coming up? Mr. Fred Bugg's Music Biz Wiz, shedding light on just how loaded Creedle Jones's estate really is. Thanks to a lifetime of hits and samples, we're talking big bucks. Fred's lowdown helps paint a picture of why everyone might be so eager to get a piece of the pie. Don't go anywhere. The reveal is just around the corner.
We want to understand the value of this estate. Can you shed light on that for us?
Sure can. You had a couple of great stand-up singing groups during the 70s. Temptation, Four Top, Shy Lights out of Chicago. A bunch of #1 songs on the R&B chart. The amount of sample that has been done throughout the years, publishing has got to be well into the millions by now.
And now, the moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Triplet, Ms. Yarbrough, Mr. Irving Jones, and Mr. Michael Jones, you are related.
Your heart will undoubtedly ache to watch Mr. Matthew Threlkeld. And if you ask why, well, it has to do with the way his wife treated him. Let's start with this question. What was Matthew's wife doing at home while he was out serving his country? Sleeping with 20 men!
He hacked my Facebook. He invaded my privacy, and he looked into my stuff. But
actually, ma'am, see, she's gonna. No. That's already a lie. I see. Oh, baby, I can't wait to see you later on tonight. I had a great time with you. I can't wait to see, the last few days we spent together. It's been amazing.
These are the messages you're seeing that your wife is entertaining while you're serving your country.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is why the plaintiff is here in court to present a case against his wife, Brittany, to Judge Lauren. Most importantly, he wants to confirm if his 18-month-old daughter, Liliana, is even his. After all, it's his right to suspect the girl's paternity after what his wife did behind his back.
Ms. Threlkeld, what? Your husband's overseas, serving his country, serving our country, keeping us all safe. What in the world led you to entertain these type of messages on your Facebook, and you've admitted that you had a few indiscretions? What is going on?
Damn, this mommy has absolutely no shame. How could she ever cheat on her loyal husband like that? Even Judge Lauren is pretty shocked. The biggest shocker? Brittany lies that Matthew promised to divorce her. He was even going to send her divorce papers. It seems like she's coming up with all kinds of lies to excuse her shameless behavior.
When the day I was supposed to come back home from overseas, we were told before we even got on the plane that there's going to be the color guard, the motorcycles that drive, in front. The news was going to be there. I get there, and not my father, my mother, my wife, like I said, we'll quote that, weren't even there. We get there, they call everybody's names up, everybody's clapping and cheering. They come to my name, and it's just dead quiet. No one was there.
But the worst thing that the defendant did was when Matthew came back from Afghanistan and she came to pick him up in skimpy clothes, she was dressed, to simply say, as a hooker who had money falling out of her dress pockets. Now, that puts poor potential fathers in a difficult position.
Even though you've had this conversation that you're done while you were overseas, you come back and you have in your mind, maybe if I could get her to stop stripping, we could maybe make it work. I get her pregnant, she can stay off the pole and stay in the house.
Yes, ma'am.
That's in your mind.
Yeah. So, now Brittany and Matthew have 3 kids, and because of all the stuff that she's done behind his back, Matthew highly doubts that the last kid belongs to him. Because of that, he had to make the difficult decision to opt for a paternity test just so he could reveal the truth.
In the case of Threlkeld versus Threlkeld pertaining to 1-year-old Liliana, Mr. Threlkeld, you are Liliana's father. You say that you are sure Mr. Reed is the father of your 22-month-old son, Lucas. But the defendant's paternity doubts have led to constant fighting and tension in your relationship. You desperately hope to prove he is the father to save your family. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Whittier took Mr. Reed to paternity court because he wasn't sure he was the dad of their son Lucas. Even though they bonded, he got unsure when he looked at him. She wanted to settle things to keep their family together.
How did your relationship begin?
He tried to save my toddler that he thought was drowning. He didn't realize she could swim.
Oh, that's cute. Good reflexes, Mr. Reed.
It was a baby, and she was adorable, cute little stubby thing running around the pool in a little swimmer diaper.
They had a very sweet story of how they met and fell in love. Everything about them screamed that they wanted to be together, but this one issue was hanging over their heads.
Did you have any doubt during that time that the child was yours?
No, not at the time of the pregnancy. I didn't know.
Okay. When did the plot twist come?
With his ex-girlfriend.
Okay. So you're pregnant now. Your ex sends you a picture, a text.
It was a video.
A video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't. Oh man.
What was in the video, Mr. Reed?
He was having sex with somebody.
Mr. Reed's ex got in his head, and he started doubting paternity before the baby was even born. To make matters worse, one of Miss Whittier's ex sent her an incredibly vulgar video on her phone.
So once you heard of this very scary medical situation, you went and stood by her and the baby, even with your doubts.
Yes,
He was there for a lot of it, but then the same ex come back.
The conflict made her physically fall sick, and she might have not made it through. He went back to her and took care of her and the baby.
Lucas
Yes.
was diagnosed with albinism.
Yes.
On its surface, when they first told me, I laughed because I didn't realize how serious it was. It means that his skin can't take sunlight.
The only huge doubt I had is the albinism. That was a physical proof, and that's what's.
It means bleeding on his brain. His body's just not equipped to handle anything. He can't go outside.
Lucas not only has albinism, but a slew of health conditions that come with it. All of it made Mr. Reed think he was not the father.
Whittier versus Reed. When it comes to 22-month-old Lucas Whittier, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Reed, you are the father.
The DNA result proved that he is the father. Despite all the doubt he had, the man was jumping with joy, looking forward to spending the rest of his life being Lucas's dad.